Coach. Well, needless to say, 8 games into the 2018 season, the weather has not been on LMU's side. As a couple of weeks ago, we had a doubleheader against King that was eventually canceled due to the weather, and a 4-game trip to Nashville that was also canceled due to weather. And because of that, you scheduled an additional doubleheader onto the season, having to travel to Young Harris on Sunday to meet the Mountain Lions. And kind of going individually from game 1 to game 2, we'll start with that opening game. Young Harris takes a 3-0 victory. LMU looked a little bit just out of sync offensively, and that may have had to do with the long layoff due to the weather. So overall, what were your thoughts on that first game against the Mountain Lions?
Yeah, well, certainly everybody's managing the weather as best they can early in the season here. But yeah, so we picked up some games down at Young Harris. Good program down there. Their squad made the tournament last year, and so we expected and got to really good ball games from them. We pitched well that game. Bree Taylor gave us an outstanding effort again. It's always tough when you pitch well and you don't get a win, but in her case, her last 2 or 3 outings have just been really, really solid for us, and so we were happy to get the outing we did from her. But yeah, you're exactly right. We didn't swing the bats well. We did make some hitting adjustments that we probably need to. They pitched well. Again, you shut a team out. Your pitching is doing a pretty good job there, so you got to give them a lot of credit. But second game, we felt like we started to make some hitting adjustments, and a tide turned a little bit for us. But yeah, in the first game, we just we got the pitching effort we wanted. We played solid defense. We just didn't swing the bats well.
Well, you talked about how the team made almost a 180 there on offense from game 1 to game 2, as you tallied 8 hits in what was a 4-3 win over Young Harris. You kept up the good pitching as well, and you pulled away with that 1-run victory. So overall, more thoughts on that victory in game 2?
Yeah, we came out, sort of guns blazing the second game there. Allie Jones and Emma Webb had big hits for us in the first inning. We plated 2 runs there, and it's always nice to get an early lead, take a little bit of pressure off of our pitching staff. And we made those hitting adjustments that we talked about. They really wanted to pitch us away, and we were able to take a few balls the opposite way, and which is what you got to do. Keela Goins did a nice job of just getting on base for us, and we were able to move some runners, get some big hits there. We got, we plated 4 runs. At the end, we were sort of hanging on. Justice Smith pitched really well again. We made we failed to make some routine plays down the stretch there, and we sort of hung on for the victory. But I was proud of our team for just sort of, sticking in there and gutting it out. And anytime you win a 1-run ball game, it sort of, shows a little mental toughness from your squad, and we were glad to get that.
Sure. You mentioned Allie Jones and Tequila Goins and Emma Webb being productive at the plate. Both Webb and Goins were 2 for 3 there, and also you talked about Breanna Taylor having a great game on the mound in game 1. Justice Smith with the same in game 2. Early on in the season, the Lady Rail Splitters showing a lot of balance, both with some newcomers and with some seniority.
Yeah, we've gotten some pretty good play from some young kids as well as some of our upperclassmen. And, we just try to take care of the process. You go out there, you hope that your pitchers will execute a pitching plan, and so far our girls have done a nice job. Both Bree Taylor and Justice Smith have executed very well. And, you hope that you can be a productive offense. And we've had some games where, we've had some really good at-bats. And I would say in the first game against Young Harris, we had some quality at-bats. We just didn't finish well. And then you try to make the routine play defensively, and in some games we've been able to do that, in others we have not. So you just try to take care of the process, and if you do it well, you normally have a shot to win at the end. And I feel like we're getting better and better at the process.
Well, this coming weekend, the team will now head to Spartanburg, South Carolina, for the Mid-South Classic. It's going to be 6 games in a 3-day stretch, so a very, very busy 3 days for the team, and as well for the head coach as well. So overall, how was since that doubleheader against Young Harris on Sunday, how have you gotten the team prepared for this grueling 3-day stretch, taking on 6 different teams?
Yeah, we've had some good practices. We really have. I like where we're at. You can tell that there's at least in practice, there's a little bit more sharpness to what we're doing. I think the understanding is there of our defensive sets and our first and third defensive plays. And, I feel like we're coming along. I'm looking for a good weekend down here. I think this might be a weekend where we start to figure things out and put things together a little bit. It's going to be tough. We don't have a lot of pitching depth. And certainly 6 games over 3 days is going to be challenging for our pitching staff. We'll have to execute well and manage well. And, we've got some quality opponents down there. 3 or 4 of the teams are coming off really fine seasons for them. And so, yeah, it will be a challenge in every regard this weekend.
Those 6 contests individually, it's going to be Augusta and Tiffin, Georgia College, Limestone, Mount Olive, and Converse. And kind of, if you will, individually, kind of day by day, what would you like to see the team at after each one of those days?
Yeah, gosh, we hope to go down there and win them all. We really do. Again, it's just about taking care of the process. Hopefully we get off to a good start against Tiffin. I think that's our first opponent on Friday. And we can just sort of build off of that momentum. Again, we've gotten some outstanding pitching performances, and we hope that we can just, continue to do that. I think it's important that on day one that our pitching staff doesn't overexert itself. Obviously we'd like to throw as few pitches as we can to get the job done. And, if we extend too much on day one, it makes it tougher day 2, day 3. I'm hoping that our offense, we see a little bit more offense. Coming into the season, we felt like we had a pretty good hitting team. We haven't been as productive, at the top of the order as we thought we probably could be. And we certainly need to get some hitters down in the order, swinging the bats a little bit. So, it's going to be challenging. Quality opponents, but we're hoping that we really put it together in Spartanburg.
All right, Coach. Well, best of luck to you in the Mid-South Classic this weekend.
Appreciate it. Thank you.